Welcome to the 24 T2 tournament for Lime War. This is round 3 where things start getting a little different. We're going to have a best of 3, so therefore this video will have more than one battle in it. At least 2, but up to 3. This is the semi-finals of the tournament. We have Animorph versus Crypto, who is playing as NLE Cropper. Both players are going to be trying to start as close to that center point as physically possible, hoping to gain control of the center by the looks of it. So let's see how they start the game. So Animorph starts with a navy yard down there, building some transport boats to get across to other points in case they can't get through to that centre, I assume. He's got a factory producing SAM, 2 barracks and a town. So how is Crypto starting this? Now Crypto doesn't have anywhere he can invest in his economy early on, so he's pretty much going straight into production. He's got 2 barracks, 2 factories and an airfield and is expanding through to that centre very quickly. Okay, so here we have Crypto's advance coming down here, and we have Animorph's advance coming up through here. We can see the plan for Crypto. He's getting his units to come around here. He's pretty confident he's going to take this, setting up all these commands early on. Whereas Animorph is getting his transport boat, and he's going to get there first by the looks of it. Into this area at least. Does have that boat. He doesn't have any energy yet, and it might take him a little while to get it. I'm going to assume that he's going to get a destroyer out, and he's going to come over to this section to grab it. It might be better off trying to get some missile ships instead first, because then after you claim this and the territories around, then you can start bringing them into this area. But I suppose you do need 1 destroyer at least, maybe 2, just in case the opponent does have submarines. You don't want to get caught off guard about those. Any defense against them. Crypto's also getting his transport jets drop off some commandos on this section, which is not actually an island. It is connected this way as well. So Crypto and Animorph are just about to meet. And there's a lot of expanding left to do. So this central control is going to do a lot of good jobs, good work for Crypto, keeping Animorph back. At least temporarily. He does have some units over here, which was a pretty good move to get something over there at least. Crypto is on the retreat. It looks like Animorph has a stronger frontline force, and Crypto does not wish to engage. So Animorph's just going to keep pushing him back, and he's going to set up a defense there, and then he changes his mind. Helicopters are moving over in this direction. He's noticed there's no anti-air and he's bringing his helis in. Yeah, and the commandos are capturing land here. They're going for an energy well as well. Crypto is now pushing forward as the infantry for Animorph move away. They are quite nicely expanding. It looks like Animorph's going to try and capture this territory before moving forward. This will allow him to build up a larger force as well. So when he does meet Crypto, Crypto will be caught off guard. But I do kind of feel like Animorph is leaving out the anti-air because potentially he hasn't seen it yet, so he's not too worried about it. Got a little engagement going on there. We've got the artillery coming up in the mountains here. So these guys are going to be a little south. So Crypto might not even know they're there. Can he see it? Let's have a look. So if we take away, yeah, he can see that. He's got enough forces there to unveil what's hidden. A few forces testing out the defences by the looks of things. But this group of infantry seeming to be moving forward right now. And will likely be advancing on this. Or are they going to retreat again? They are. They're just trying to catch him off guard and try and pick him off slowly but surely. But both of these forces are slowly getting larger and larger. Crypto may encounter Animorph over here if he's quick enough to spot it. But Animorph is digging in the forest area here. One of the units getting caught off guard is with his shovel out and not his gun. But this is just going to distract Crypto for a bit. These smaller metal units will be able to take on what's coming in through this area. Got heavy movement coming in over in this section. Trying to make sure I don't miss any of the other expanding units moving around. And we've got a pretty good engagement going on here. We've got a lot of infantry on the front line with a good sort of artillery in the back. I do think Animorph's got a lot more units here, but the majority of them are infantry, which haven't even reached the artillery yet. Now, I do love infantry in the games, but the artillery are definitely usually going to win this sort of a fight. But now the artillery over here are exposed. Both players' artillery are mostly exposed, to be fair, but I think Animorphs are in better position. They're coming in through this area, which this side's weaker, and they're more dense at the top there. So Animorph's going to be picking them off like a faster rate. But helicopters are moving in. Crypto's bringing them in through this side, which is perfect positioning because the SAM are on the opposite side there. Just trying to see what else is going on around, but we do have that airfield over there. These guys are about to meet Crypto over there. But the SAM respond pretty quick. They're coming straight across here, and it looks like they're going to take one helicopter out. But not quite. But as they land on this side, he's desperately trying to get them to move away. The SAM might catch any off guard now, or no, not quite. They do manage to escape with their lives, or their propellers. Got the infantry getting a bit too close for comfort there, and some artillery advancing where they probably shouldn't be. But it looks like Crypto is going to commit to the engagement here. And with the infantry moving in from either side, they're going to come into this sort of dead zone, acting as a meat shield, so the artillery can get more damage done in the centre, on the main force. The interceptors are on the move. I just want to quickly follow those down here. I think they're trying to spot any of the helicopters and hoping to catch them off guard, but it looks like... Oh, Animorph's actually transported across to this side too. I didn't spot that. You guys might have seen it on the mini-map. But down here we've got some barracks being set up, so they're going to be coming into the back of Crypto, just like Crypto is coming into the back of Animorph. Crypto has been forced to retreat. Few mini skirmishes going on down around these areas. Animorph focused on just keeping this location here, but there's no anti-air and a lot of helicopters, so I think that they're just going to slowly break through. But it looks like the infantry are going to try and jump on these helicopters at the moment. Not sure if Crypto spotted that, but it's Animorph that's putting pressure over here, creating a big distraction. And we've got this world's smallest defense over here. Nice little position for that. It's a bit difficult to try and keep up with two sides of the map at the same time. We do have some engagements going on behind the mini-map down in this corner here. To get in one of the barracks, it looks like Animorph's going to lose this zone down here actually. So Crypto's going to separate Animorph's section away from this reinforcement zone here. This little outpost. But I think Crypto's got this area down. He's got his helicopters there and there isn't much against them right now. But Animorph is taking this middle zone here. So Animorph's trying to go around the top section, whereas Crypto's bringing them around from the other side. Just purely based on the position and the way it's happening, it might be wise to take these off and these and just send them in through the side, as they're being protected by the units coming around that way anyway. Which looks like exactly what he's planning to do now. And it looks like instead of keeping his helis over here, he's actually transporting them across this way. So he's probably going to try and bring them down alongside this force here. We've got the engagement in preparation here. if Crypto's keeping an eye on that, he might want to keep some of these units back until they build up. He's building an airfield up in the northern section there as well. Animorph is now bringing his air force down this way. He does encounter 2 SAM units, but these 3 helicopters will have enough ammo to take them out in quick succession. And then move on to the artillery. So yeah, 3 helicopters can use their, I think they're called Hellfire missiles, and destroy 2 SAMs straight away. The helicopters are moving from this section down towards here, which surprises me a little. I guess he wants it for this main location, but he could easily try and use them to wipe out this section here as well. At least for now. But Crypto is struggling on energy at the moment as well, so he's only got 8 left. He's trying to use too much, he's just managing what he's got. And over here, Crypto did engage, and he seems to have lost the engagement, so he's retreating into a defense in which Animorph is now pushing forward. Sorry, I'm starting to stutter, I'm not sure why. Crypto's pushing forward just ever so slightly. And these infantry are trying to line up just in the range of these artillery, which is unfortunate, as he's trying to... Actually, he's actually going to push around to the side here, and he's going to try and sneak around to the sides of this defense. At the same time, he's bringing in these units from this area, so they're not expanding anymore. And there's 1 barracks left down here from Animorph, in which Crypto thinks he can get with those 3 that are left over. But Animorph's also pushing through in this area, which is fairly exposed. There's a barracks here, but that's about it. He may need to bring these helicopters over to deal with this area. And as these forces start to combine, they are presenting quite a big threat here. Some of them are trying to just rush through and trying to see what they can snipe. But a lot of these are going to try and take on this force that's coming in. But I do feel like this positioning, if they were to advance this way, would have the advantage because of the curve that they're creating around the enemy. At the same time, the helicopters have been brought into this side. This side's a bit more protected. Sam are going to have to get in real close to get these. It looks like he's going to lose 1, maybe 2 helis. Crypto is confident that he's taken this area now. Investing money in a town over here, which is also unfortunate because there is also destroyers here. So he may end up losing that town anyway, even if he's confident enough to take this land. He's bringing the helicopters down in the south. And over in this section, it has been lost from Animorph. Crypto is pushing in and is actually getting into this area, which is completely exposed. And although the helicopters were getting into the back of here, there's interceptors here to try and take them out. But that being said, it looks like Crypto is fairly dominant in the center now. And he's going to come in around the back of Animorph, which Animorph's going to seriously struggle with, unless they can pull something off over here and take a lot of this territory very quickly. He does also still have this barracks down here. And Animorph does control the ocean down there, so it's certainly not all lost. Not just yet. Crypto sees the force moving in here, so he's setting up a nice line here for movement. He's getting the infantry in front and the artillery behind. Repositioning his SAM further back as well. Cryptos and Animorph doing really good at trying to keep these formations up. Animorph's getting into these places to try and stop them from getting around to where they actually want to be. But Crypto is trying his best to take advantage of that, but Animorph just got the upper hand in the center. But unfortunately it might be a little too late for that because we've got all of these infantry pushing in and Crypto is investing heavily into this area. Trying to put more forces on the front lines of, say front lines, the back lines of the base. And although the town was heavily damaged, the destroyer came round. It looks like the helicopters probably destroyed that destroyer. So he's still managing to protect from the ocean via air. We do have the defences here, but at the minute I think it's just holding out long enough for the rear end to give in. Probably could work that better. The helicopters are even moving in this section, and I don't think there's any anti-air, so apart from Animorph, who's got interceptors here taking on these helicopters as well. And the anti-air is coming in the form of the Navy, so the missile ships are going to build up over here. That'll stop those helicopters, hopefully. But Crypto is doing a good job in the back end there. My drink was making a funny noise, I just opened it. So now we've got these units coming into this section. Crypto's got a bit stronger of a defense line, but he's sacrificing this barracks by the looks. Actually, no, he's not. He's putting another line in front of it. And the rocket has been built and ready. I almost missed that entirely. It's coming into the center of the map. And that's going to take out the majority of Animorph's forces there, leaving the center completely exposed. But Animorph does have this section here, which is digging in as they see this force approaching. And they're expanding in the back there, so they still got a force there moving around. Whereas Crypto, on the other hand, is still pushing in here. Animorph is trapped. His main force was up here, destroyed by the nuke, being pushed in from the north and from the west. West. So unfortunately felt a bit trapped, I believe, and waved the white flag. So Crypto has won the first point. Animorph is behind now. If he loses the next match, Crypto will win. If he wins the next match, another match will be played. So this is normally where I say thank you for watching, but we need to continue. This is a best of 3. So let's get into the picking phase. I haven't said that before. Now, Animorph being down in the first game, looking at the picking phase of this map must bring him a lot more confidence. Unfortunately for Crypto, he doesn't really have anywhere of value to grab. He does have more of a hold over the center of the map, but he doesn't have any economy that he can really go into. Whereas Animorph has that northern section which he's taken, but Crypto is starting very close to that area. Starting in the north, Animorph has gone for a town over there with one factory and just barracks after that. He's going to be trying to expand the map pretty fast as infantry grab a lot of land pretty quickly. Crypto, on the other hand, is going for 2 factories and 3 barracks, and will be trying to, he knows pretty much where Animorph is going to be starting, so he's going to be focusing his efforts right through the center towards this map, bringing some infantry up to grab any land over in this section, which maybe to add like a little outpost up there to create another front for Animorph to fight later. So this is about how close each player has started. Crypto is going for this area here, so is Animorph. Both players are trying to sneak around to this section. I think Crypto is just trying to get a foothold somewhere else to approach in a different direction. And that will keep up the front lines in multiple ways. So, in multiple different directions. But this is going to be the center stage, kind of like it was in the other map. Obviously it was different, but this is kind of like the same as the center stage by the looks of it. And because it's mostly forest, Animorph has actually gone for a lot of infantry. And with the forest, to be fair, actually, they're pretty similar. They've got the same amount of infantry. But Crypto has a lot more of that infantry going for this forest, meaning it will get a benefit from that, more so than Animorph, because there's more units getting that benefit. However, Animorph is trying to come through this way, and that's one long defensive line. They're trying to dig in, they're coming in through this part here, but Animorph is slowly capturing the territories. With infantry it's not too bad, because the infantry will just still shoot as they move, whereas the artillery won't. So if that was artillery, that probably wouldn't be such a good move. It looks like he's trying to set up a defense over here as well. He's planning to just literally walk by this section and try and get the benefit from the forest. He's also separated his defense here. This is a different type of defense line where they're a bit more separated. I think he's kind of hoping for like the intimidation of a defense with the benefit of infantry, so that Animorph doesn't want to pursue that direction mainly, so that way he can spend his more forces going across to this section over here and doing the same there. But it will be more noticeable here as there is a section outside of stealth. Whereas in this section it might just look like some of them are hidden rather than it being a separate defense like it is. He's noticed that Animorph's here, so he's setting up some more. We've included the artillery as well. So this is a nice cheaper defense this way. He's also getting some defense for the artillery in the backs there in certain groups and some SAM units to go along with it. So these are quite nice lines, and I think he's doing really well at trying to keep the expenditure as minimum as possible whilst covering as much as he can. I think Animorph has noticed the separated defense here and he's trying to get infantry to push through. And those infantry are jumping on these artillery, and because they're in the forest, Animorph's infantry here are getting a bit more of a boost. For some reason he's just moved the line slightly and they're digging in once again. I don't know if that was a mistake or just a misclick or something, I'm not sure. But it's going to be harder to get reinforcements over here as the units sort of stray off and try and dig in over on this section. It's going to be less actually reinforcing this area. Animorph's pushed through here, so Crypto couldn't quite cut this line off. We've now taken down the defense. The infantry are moving this way as Animorph has noticed he's pulling his units into. Just want to make sure where Crypto's infantry went. He's got some infantry here and they're setting up a line here, keeping an eye on what's going on. Animorph goes straight for this barracks over here, forcing some of Crypto's units to come back. Try and block them and not let them get close enough, which he will succeed, but he is also relieving this area for Animorph to push through. Now Crypto has no more reinforcements coming into this area, so what's lost is lost, but Animorph has two structures there producing units. But Crypto's going to hold off what he can. But Animorph is slowly making progress in this section here. He's also decided to go in for a lot more economy. He's got 4 industries set up and a town, so that could turn into a city very soon. We will just check on the economy as this engagement's happening, but Crypto is moving some units in to the right section there. So Crypto's on 520, whereas Animorph is on 690. So Animorph is definitely ahead, and that's because of this area here mostly. Getting those industries up and running, and both players almost lost in this area. They pretty much destroyed each other. It was just the fact there's some production there that are bringing some more units in to replace those that were lost. Crypto is once again on the retreat, pulling back from this zone, which is a good idea because most of the infantry here are in the forest. They're going to get that boost, so you want to try and get them to come out of it. It might have been better to try and maybe even pull it further back. We got this line here that's showing commandos, but it's actually infantry that are meant to be trying to go there. Infantry are pushing forward on these artillery units. They don't have any backup from the artillery, so they're just going to end up going through and taking out what they can. They did manage to take one out, and now they're going to retreat once again. Over in this section, we've got the infantry pulling away from that spotting zone, and they're coming down here to try and capture some more territories. But Animorph is slowly creeping around. He's got this section here now, and he will be able to push through here if he wanted to, but I think he's just going to continue to expand. He may end up actually cutting off Crypto instead. Do they have a connection this way? Not quite. This is just going to be another choke point. So the defense holds up here, and the infantry are trying to sneak around there, but Animorph has redirected his forces, and they're going to be pushing in that direction. He sees the opportunity to move these guys around, and he could end up coming into the side of these buildings if Crypto doesn't do anything about that soon. All of the forces are being drawn into the forest now. We've got a large group of infantry in the front. We've got infantry coming in from both sides. But there is a nice formation of artillery coming through in this section. A bit of a defense here, which may catch these infantry coming in. Animorph's also building another town up there, so he's still investing in his economy. So he's boosted to nearly 1,000 now, whereas Crypto's on 600. So Crypto's unfortunately unable to keep up when it comes to economy spending. And this might be why he's actually got a stronger force in the center, because he's not investing too much money into future, just into the present. Whereas Animorph is focused more on the future, and he's actually managing to stray a few units off into the battlefield from this section here. Those infantry jump on the structures down here, and they seem to have caught Crypto off guard a little, and it looks like it's going to take out the barracks, potentially even the factory too. They're on strike commands. They do take it, and they're going to retreat back into this section over here instead. They took what they could, and now they're going to flee from the zone, but Crypto's pushing even harder through the center here. These SAM are exposed, but the main force is just pushing through. There doesn't seem to be any air units at the moment, but there is an airfield at play. The helicopters are coming down here as both engage in this section too. But Crypto's making some good progress here. We've got another structure that's about to go down. They're trading bases mostly at the minute. But yeah, there's the factory. It goes down. And we're now setting up defenses in this section, so he's pulling back even more. And instead of trying to go through this way, no, he is going to continue to go through that way. He decided to change his mind there. So he is going to try and continue there. You can hold them off at the choke point a bit easier, but he's not going to get the reinforcements unless he brings some units around here. But if he could hold them off, that could allow him this area in the future if he could try to expand that way. Though Crypto is trying to invest in some of the future. He's got 2 industries there. But the helicopters are tearing up anything that comes through this section as the forces are going to come through and try and expand. The infantry are just a bit too far forward in comparison to these artillery. They can't really help. And unfortunately, they are just getting destroyed by the artillery at range. And because they're in defense mode, they will not advance forward to try and take them on. They are just slowing down the opponent rather than doing much about it. The artillery are on the run up here, unprotected from the ground. We've got infantry coming in to try and help with them, but they have been stopped. Mostly because they've joined this orange line and then enemies in range, so they're going to stop and shoot it. The artillery are building up in numbers, and they're taking out the infantry faster than the infantry can be replaced. And down in this section, forces are slowly making progress. And we've got Crypto trying to sneak around on the side there, by the looks of it, with his expanding. Just keeping an eye on what's going on around. We've got another airfield coming in now, because I think that he can see that as the only option against this artillery swarm. And instead of trying to engage here, he's trying to take out what he can. He's found a town there. He's going to just go off and try and strike that out. Animorph's focused on 2 more towns. He's still getting economy going up over that way. At this point, I know we're coming up to the end of the match, but 700 for Cropper or Crypto, and for Animorph 1100. So he's advancing pretty fast in this game. Some commandos are now even being dropped in and behind. They're going to take out that industry. We've got some more industries popping up as well, so those commandos could sweep round. Sneakily trying to get in damage where they can. Front lines here are slowly going down as well for Crypto. He does have more units there to replace it. The industry gets taken out, and the defense lines of his main location has been drawn backwards a bit. The artillery are literally trying to strike anything they can. They're going up. They found the energy well as well, so they're going to move away from this area as fast as they can, and then they're going to deploy to strike this structure and hopefully take that out in time. There are some infantry trying to go up there to try and slow down any forces, but they're getting taken out by the artillery as they come through. Helicopter has been built, and they're moving in to try and take out any artillery they can. Infantry moving up through the foresty area here. This is a good opportunity for Crypto to take out those artillery. Being supported by the helicopter, they're going to do a fair amount of damage there, but there's a rocket silo being built, so that could threaten those zones there as well. And it looks like Crypto's actually starting to push back in this zone. Keeping to the mountains, it's doing good for his artillery. We got the commandos dropping in, trying to take out our barracks, but they have dropped in to a small force of infantry that will probably take them out first. But I'm not sure. It looks like they're going down. Yep. Structure does survive. This structure survived too from those little artillery that came across. But Animorph has won the game. Crypto was unable to keep up with him after that first initial advance. He tried to keep him out of that zone, but unfortunately Animorph was able to push through. He spotted the weakness in the defense and just fought his way through it. Let me know what you thought of the battle. So Animorph has managed to come back with one of the games. So now Crypto's won one, Animorph has won one. We're moving on to the final match of this best of 3. Now both of these players have gained 1 point each. They are both evenly matched by the looks of it. So the outcome will be of this match here. As we can see, once again, the map has been blacked out. These players must be thinking alike when it comes to the picking phase. And once again, we'll be starting fairly close to the centre and close to each other. Animorph has some quite strong potential here. He's got quite a lot of trade routes in that small location, which he could take advantage of in the future. He's got a town set up already. He's put in a factory up in those mountains and down over there. And we've got 2 barracks over in that section too. So he's getting hold of these choke points, which may become valuable later on to take better trades. As for Crypto, he's setting up an airfield in the mountains with a factory and a barracks just behind those mountains in the choke point, which does give him a good advantage when it comes to the terrain. And down in this section, they've got a barracks behind those, which he could take the choke point, but it looks like he's going to try and expand outward from there first. So he may end up with a group of infantry behind enemy lines. So here we are, they're starting really close together, and this choke point's really important to Crypto to get hold of, because I think he wants to stop Animorph getting out this way, because he's planning to by the looks of it already. So if he can stop him getting out of this area, then he's got control over this area, which would be uncontested. But if Animorph gets through, it's going to be a bit more challenging for Crypto to take hold of that area, so he's finding it important. He's trying to do the same over here. He's getting some units going through this section. Unfortunately, it looks like he's retreating away from Animorph there, at least a little bit. He's turned him into capture commands. I think he's trying to sneak over there himself. He just can't quite get through. Animorph has stopped him here by the looks of it. He's trying to find little ways to get around. But I think Animorph has that covered a little bit, or he's trying to sneak around through here. Up in this section here, it looks like there's an artillery piece out of position there, and Crypto is going to punish him for that. Potentially. He's slowly trying to get away, it's getting damaged, and he does manage to take it out, but these infantry are going to jump on those as well, as there's more infantry, but the artillery are behind those, which can fire in, forcing Animorph to retreat. Instead of keeping them there, he's getting a defense over here and sending these guys off to expand in this direction. Crypto managed to get a few units behind the lines here. He's damaged the structure, but he couldn't quite take it out. But now he's bringing in some units over here to set up a defense, which is great, but because they're only infantry, we've got artillery in play over on this side. So they may have to come away from that defense to actually stop that artillery getting through. Animorph is chasing away Crypto over here as they're trying to build up their forces in one spot. The artillery are moving in, so they're trying to cut them up, make sure they can't get through. The movements going on over here are very fine-tuned at the minute. But Animorph has got through over here. He's got some units in the forest there, and he's going to be trying to expand across. He does have this area to go through too, but he knows it's going to take him a little longer to get through. Those guys just missed this territory by like an inch. So he may have to come back for that one if he wants it. Now you got to remember, both players are trying to find and exploit the opponent as best that they can, because this game will decide who stays in the tournament and who will be eliminated. And those artillery are kind of exposed. He's setting up a defense line here so that they can shoot through, and as the infantry come in, the helicopters are flying over to try and take out anything they can. They see a SAM unit, so they're going to try and take that out. That is going to be their priority first. But that frees them up to do whatever they want in this location. But it looks like Crypto has lost that little engagement there. I'm just trying to see what else is going on. It looks like both players are content with their front lines. Apart from in this section, 2 artillery pieces are out of position there, but they're being brought back anyway. Animorph's not too worried about punishing him for that one, but he does take out one, to be fair, with that one unit that strayed away anyway. Now, unfortunately, Animorph doesn't have any anti-air available, but they will get shot down by the infantry that were just there, lying in wait. With enough infantry, you can take down a good amount of helicopters. I think Crypto's just pulled away from this zone here, so there's the choke point here that was being defended against. And Animorph was just going to defend too, but it looks like Crypto's pulling away from that. That is going to leave him exposed over here, and if Animorph hasn't noticed, then that will be perfectly fine. It's kind of like a little ruse there. Crypto set up some defenses here. Now it's going to be harder for him to retreat from this zone, but the infantry are going to push right through that. And now they're going to jump on these artillery that are kind of stuck in place. They could run away, but that would risk it. They've got the infantry coming in now, but I think Animorph is going to be able to take down those artillery before they get into place. So now the artillery is trying to escape there. He's going to bring the helicopters around this way to stop those SAMs, which is going to be very good. He's going to get some free kills there from those helis. And the infantry are going to try and hold this line over here mostly, but the artillery are going to get taken out by the helis. And anything else should be taken out by these artillery, but unfortunately the infantry are just too much. And they're overwhelming the defense in that location. Over here, Animorph is stopping Crypto from bringing in reinforcements in that area. And the defenses are being set up once again on this mountain edge. It looks like Animorph is going to be able to push through this zone. They've got SAM mixed into this, but those helicopters will take out those SAM pretty quickly. But there's actually more than I thought. I thought there was just two, so he's going to have to recall those. If there was just two SAM, that really did change that thing. So if there was two, those three helicopters would have been able to take it out really easily. But because there was three, it did kind of force him to retreat them. And he's going to have to push them back in to try and take on SAM. One heli goes down. Another one's heavily damaged. It's going back for repairs. And another one goes down. I think the last one's just going to survive. Crypto is being devastated at this part of the game right now. Let's have a look at their economy as they've kind of expanded the map pretty well. We've got 600 from Animorph, so well, nearly 700. Wasn't meant to go like that. And Real Bug is on 800. So Real Bug's actually ahead of an economy. Not by like an extreme margin, but a fair amount. And Animorph's expanding quite nicely. Crypto's coming down in a nice formation here, so he might actually start taking out some of these units as they stray. Animorph's going to hold a defensive line here for now. And Crypto is sending quite a large group of infantry on either side. I do feel like when they stop expanding, Crypto's going to have such a good, strong position on both sides. But he does need to get through with that expanding. Just a couple of infantry are trying to push through here, striking this barracks here, and unfortunately I don't think they're going to get through there. But they did come quite close to taking out one barracks there, just for free almost. They spotted a break in the defense here. The defense line's too long and they're filling in at the edges, leaving it open in the center point here. So the infantry are trying to rush through. They're going to jump on the artillery from behind as well as they're setting up a defense. The helicopters are going to try and defend this though. And now they broke the defense to try and catch them here. This is going to end up being like a pincer trap here. Getting some infantry jumping in on those artillery pieces there. This actually kind of turned into favorable for Crypto, considering he had a smaller force here, which he still does, and he probably won't win the engagement. He does take out quite a few artillery there. So maybe not favorable, but you know what I mean. Crypto's bringing down some more infantry from that way. He might need to actually recall these guys to come and join this fight, because he's going to struggle here for a minute. Trying to keep an eye on everywhere else. Crypto's dealing with some helicopters over in this section, but he doesn't have any anti-air yet, but he is prepared for that. He is going to start getting some more in there. Crypto's trying to get these helicopters in, but now the SAM are on the front lines and they're going to take them out before they can get involved. They kept along the side of the mountain there to keep hidden as best they could. I don't think they were that hidden because these infantry are going to be able to see them. But every little helps. What's going on down in this section? Because there was an engagement. It looks like Animorph setting up some defensive lines, protecting his energy well and trying to stop anything from advancing here. That being said, this airfield is being jumped on by Animorph, and his forces are moving through over the mountains, past any defense that Crypto could have hoped to have set up here. And instead, Crypto's trying to go through this section, but has encountered a defense of his own that he's going to have to deal with. And the main force is going through. They're setting up strike plans on these structures. They're going to try and take them out as fast as they can. Also, Crypto's on this side as well. He's going to be trying to push through over here. And he does have quite a strong presence on the map. It's just that he couldn't keep hold of this central location that was his original starting point. I would like to see the economy. Could he come back from this? He's got 1,200 and Animorph has 900. Animorph's catching up slowly but surely. So Crypto has lost that center. So what's his sidelines looking like? Looks like Animorph's ready to push through on this side as they're streaming in slow groups. Those infantry will be able to probably take them out and push forward. So Crypto's not looking good on that side either. And up in this side, although I think he's doing good here, there's not as much production to deal with. He is actually losing a couple of not factories, barracks in this section. He does lose 2. He may lose another. But I think there's enough defense there now to take them out before they do. And unfortunately, Crypto waves the white flag. He has conceded. He did extremely well in the tournament. He's put up a great fight against Animorph. He won the first battle, but Animorph wasn't having it, and he took the game, and he stayed in the tournament after that. I hope you're enjoying the best of 3s, having 3 battles per video. I was thinking about releasing them separately, but I thought, considering I'm doing it with a tournament, it just wouldn't really make as much sense to do it that way. I just thought we'd keep it all together. I will be releasing the entirety of the videos I've covered as a video, so the entire final stage of the tournament. Once I've released all of the other videos, maybe a week later I'll release the full-length video. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of the battles that we've been watching. And there are 2 videos on screen right now. Feel free to click on one, and I'll see you there.